Okay, so I will begin and then you can go. Whoever wishes to go can go next. So my name is Mahit and I prefer he and him pronouns. And I am currently a student at Tennessee State University here in Nashville. And I'm a fourth year graduate student in counseling psychology and I work as a therapist at another counseling center. I've been teaching meditation for quite a while, and that's also part of like my practice or work of being a therapist. Then I'm originally from India, and yes, I describe what I'm doing, and then let me see. I will choose the fourth option and go with where would you go if there wasn't a pandemic, and if I had unlimited money, I think I will go to Thailand. Just be on the beach. I'll just be on one of the islands in Thailand and have a good time. So that's a little bit about me. Anyone who wants to go next?
I can go.
Sure.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
So my name is Asmita and I go with she, her, hers pronouns. I am originally from India, but currently doing my PhD in counseling psych as well. I'm a first year student at Auburn University. And if I had to answer anyone, I think a TV show that I'm currently watching is Dark, which I'm not understanding a bit of it, but I'm just going with the flow, I guess. Yeah. If I could answer one more question, I think if I want to go, if there wasn't a pandemic and if I had unlimited money, I think I would revisit Disney parks. I think I loved it and I would want to go again.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you for sharing and welcome to this workshop. Who wants to go next?
I can go next.
Sure.
Hello, my name is Kate, and I go by she, her pronouns. I'm from Massachusetts, and I spend a good chunk of my time in California, so I say I'm from both Massachusetts and California. I'm currently in Tennessee. I just went back to undergraduate school at TSU. I'm studying psychology with the intention to go into graduate school to become a therapist. The inspiration comes from having a Buddhist practice. I've been meditating and studying more Tibetan Buddhism for the last 3 years, and it's definitely been transformative for me. So the intention is to bring that Western psychology and Eastern spirituality to my practice. I am currently not watching any TV because I'm just studying a lot and getting used to being back into school. But I did recently do one of those recap episodes of that show, Euphoria, on HBO.
Thank you so much for sharing and welcome to the workshop, Kate.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes. Who wants to go next?
Hi. Sorry, is someone speaking?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay, sorry. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Yashwanti, but you can call me Yash. It's YASH. I live in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, but I'm originally from India. So currently I'm into IT. I work for a bank. To answer any of these questions, my favorite animal, I think I'm a big animal lover. So all the animals I find cute. And a TV show you're currently watching, I'm actually watching Lucifer. Yeah. And where would you go if there wasn't a pandemic? Irrespective of having unlimited money or something, I think I would prefer to spend, I would love to spend more in woods, where is this nature around me. I think I would prefer more of such places to spend time.
Awesome. Thank you for
Thank
sharing,
you.
and welcome to the workshop. I'm so glad you're joining us.
Thank you.
Huh. Who wants to? I think Jasmine was speaking.
Yeah, okay, I can go next. My name is Jasmine, preferred pronouns she, her. I'm from Gurgaon, it's a city in India, and I'm currently studying. I'm doing my MPhil in clinical psychology. A TV show I'm currently watching is called The Mentalist. It's a show about crime, solving crime, and there's a guy who apparently has like psychic powers, but he's a very interesting character. Fun fact about me, I love minions and I own a lot of things that are minion related. So anybody who knows me well knows how crazy I am. Keeps the inner child in me alive. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much for sharing and welcome to the workshop. So wonderful to have you.
Thank you.
Who wants to go next?
I'm happy to go.
Sure.
Hi. I don't think I can see the thing on the screen.
Oh, let me answer.
For some reason, I'm having some technical issues with the screen. So I'm Sadia. I live in the United Kingdom, the UK. So I live in Manchester. I've kind of come because I'm a trainee mindfulness teacher. I'm just training at the minute. I'm just really curious about kind of cannot pronounce the words, but self-transcendence, so the self, yeah. And yeah, I think the other question was about TV programs. I've been watching Married at First Sight Australia, which has been really entertaining. There's a very like curious side to that. You learn a lot about kind of being married, but also it's very entertaining as well. So yeah, I really enjoy that.
I'm sorry that you could not see the screen, but yeah, I'm so happy that you're here, and thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to this workshop. Okay. Anyone else who wants to go next? And it is completely fine to pass. That is an option. If I have not mentioned that earlier, you can just witness the class as we move on. But again, I want to ask if someone wants to introduce themselves. That's part of, we are going to have sort of a community here because we will be supporting each other. And that is an essential aspect of meditation practice. Because when we are doing it alone, it feels like we feel lonely, and we are all anyways feeling sort of lonely in the pandemic. So to have a community, I'm just keep making space for you to get to know each other. And that's the only purpose. So one more time, if anyone wants to go, this is the time. Okay. And if you want to introduce yourself on chat, that's okay too. And if you feel motivated later, interrupt me and stop me and introduce yourself or say something if you wish. But I'm going to move ahead now with few things. So the first thing that I want to do is like acknowledge my teachers. Before I begin this workshop, I had few teachers in my life and I want to acknowledge them. My first one is my dog, as in I think no human taught me more than like he was just there without speaking, without any words, but just through like silence. And then I will be, of course, referring to animals in the future during the workshop because they amaze me. And the nature amazes me, like how it's always just there and the resilience they have. And for me, I think the strongest part of meditation practice is, or strongest attribute a human can have is like getting comfortable with silence. And animals are most of the time silent. So that's like a huge thing. And the other aspect is having unconditional regard, or having sort of unconditional acceptance, which I received from Potato, my dog. And that's when I really understood what it is. Like, even though I'm going through different emotional states, he was always the same. So, but other humans might change around me, might react differently, but he never changed his stance. He was always the same unconditional acceptance for me. Like, he gave that to me. So that's why I really consider him as one of my biggest like teachers in meditation. Anyway, so that's Potato. And then next, this is S.N. Goenka. He started Vipassana meditation centers all over the world. I have done 3 retreats under the tradition. He's no longer, I never met him, but I have go to Vipassana retreats every year, except for last year because of pandemic. I could not actually go. And this is a link. These are free 10-day silent retreats, I think available in most countries, I would say, but you can check. I might be wrong. There are 10 centers in US and several in India. I'm not sure about other countries. But yeah, this is for free, and they follow the Buddhist style of meditation. So that's another teacher. And this is Jim. He is currently in Oakland, California. And that's my cousin Puneet. Both of them are in Oakland, California. And both of them have been sort of my teachers. Like my cousin, I grew up with him. But Jim, he teaches Vedanta classes. And right now the classes are online. That's his website. I'll be sharing these slides, Google slides later, to all of you. So you can always have like access to these resources. And they are also for free. And that's like a sort of different perspective to the same realizations. So the Buddhism will talk about no self-experience, and Vedanta will talk about finding the true self. So Vedanta comes from Hindu philosophy, and the no self-experience or the enlightenment, that is more the language of Buddhism, and which has become more commonly like the mindfulness philosophy now in the world. But I will be talking briefly about both of them, and that's when self-transcendence comes into picture, because that is the Vedanta, Advaita, which is a Sanskrit word, itself means non-dual or non-duality. And that is the class that I've been attending those classes, and that's why I have some more understanding. So that's Jim's class. And then Puneet also teaches those classes. So that's briefly about them. And we'll be talking more about those things later. These are a few books that I've like read and I'm still reading slowly. And like Power of Now, I Am That. So these are like very so focused on to non-duality or like the spiritual enlightenment. So the whole orientation of these books is to just help the reader find their true self or understand the deeper truth. So I highly recommend these books, and they will be in your link once I share these slides. And then these are another book, Viveka Chudamani by Swami Vivekananda. Swami Chinmayananda, I'm so sorry. So that's the commentary. And this is another book that is used in Vedanta classes, and which is purely on non-duality. And these are few articles. I have not added much. So my research, my dissertation topic is mindfully decentering towards self-transcendence. So I am writing that right now. And this class is going to give me a lot more motivation to do the stats and write the paper. And so I'm familiar with the research that is happening in these areas. In mindfulness, mindfulness has become really big. But within mindfulness, there are specific variables like decentering, meta-awareness, and non-reactivity and disidentification. So these are few variables within psychology that are oriented towards self-transcendence or non-dual awareness experience. So I have just 3 articles right now. I'll be adding more later. Okay, so now that we have introduced ourselves, to be honest, I was just writing this before, like 5 minutes before the class, so it's not fully done. And this is how I work. I'm not a planner. It automatically comes in existence. So I'll be creating these slides while I'm doing it. So, and another aspect of this workshop is, I know I started it. I'm the person who is maybe taking the role of a meditation teacher here. However, I don't see myself as a teacher. I just see myself as a platform where all the teachers can come out on the surface. And all the teachers, by that, I mean me, the teacher in me, the teacher in you. So all of you are welcome to share your insights when you feel like, oh, this bit makes sense and I want to share it with the group. So that's sort of a model, and that is an organic model. So there is no hierarchy here. I don't want to create that, so that we are all feeling like encouraged to share our insight and to share from a place of, I don't know, our true self. So before we go more into the practice, I want to make few commitments. So another one just came to my mind that I will add. I will attend all 8 meetings. Anyways, so I'm just making them up, but it's for you to make certain intentions, and these are voluntary. If you don't want to make it, of course, I'm not going to force you, but these are just to help you establish a practice. If we don't make these commitments or these intentions, then we are more likely to get off the track, which is fine. But just because this is a purpose to help you may establish a practice, that is one of the big aspects of this workshop. So that is why I'm writing them here. So now, if someone feels like sharing, like they are planning to meditate this amount of time in a day, you can unmute yourself and share, or you can just write that down in the chat. So that I leave that up to you. And also I invite you to share more intention, any other intention that you're setting for yourself. I just wrote down 4 things. Maybe you have more, like much better ideas, and I'll add them here. So I'm opening up. Anyone else has a certain amount of time they are expecting, or any new intention that they want to add to this list? Okay, thank you, Kate. 15 minutes in the morning and 30 in the evening. Amazing. Oh, I see. And then twice a day. Yes, meditating at least twice a day. Thank you, Sadia. Is that the correct pronunciation?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Let's see. Okay, 10 minutes each day, and at end my morning meditation with affirmations for the day. Okay. Add. Thank you. This is amazing. That's a wonderful. I can just copy paste it, right? I don't know, I'm working hard by typing it again. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. And again, there is no specific expectation. And again, like I said about judgment. So this is sort of, we are going to support each other and not judge each other. So if you're not fulfilling what you stated right now, that's completely fine. Okay. 5 minutes in the morning and before that. Twice a day. Okay. 5 minutes each. Awesome. With the goal to build up as you establish a practice. Awesome. Thank you so much for all of you, like who shared and who are establishing these intentions. So now I want to briefly talk about a few things that are sort of research based and that help you establish a daily practice. So I know many of you are coming from psychology backgrounds, so I will not go into a lecture of like how to establish habits and the 21 day thingy and stuff. So many of you already know, but it's research for those who might not know. Like 21 days, if you do something, it becomes naturally part of your habit, naturally part of your routine. So this workshop is for 8 weeks. So definitely we'll cross that 3-week mark. So hoping by 3rd week or 4th week, you will feel like, oh, it's naturally there. So that's one thing. Then what other helpful things, and then you can think of them also while I'm speaking from my experience, and you can share with the group. So another thing is like having a certain space in your room or in your apartment. Like right now, I'm sitting at a meditation pillow. It's in my bedroom. My bed is here. My study table is there. But this is the first thing I see when I enter my room. And then, I don't know, having a painting of the Buddha in my room. So I have these tiny reminders all over my house that like remind me, oh, it's time to meditate. Using your smartwatch, alarm clock, or anything, these are of course other helpful ways. But having something that you can physically see helps a lot. And then like the meditation pillow invites me, like, okay, come, just sit down. And then the other thing which is just my belief, I guess, that I'm just generating more and more vibrations. The more I'm meditating on this pillow, it is becoming stronger and stronger. And I just do feel more focused just because I'm sitting on it. I don't feel as focused when I'm sitting on the couch in the living room, but I feel so focused while I'm sitting on my meditation pillow, because this is the place where I've cultivated really high concentration and focus for years. It's another way to motivate yourself. Then another research-based aspect of where to place this meditation habit is if you place it right after something that you do every day anyways. So like getting up in the morning, like the first thing I do is meditation. So I wake up and I just sit down and start meditating on my bed itself, or I just move to my pillow. So that is the first thing, because I'm going to wake up every morning anyways. Other things can be like taking a shower. So you take a shower and right after shower, you come and sit at your place, at your chair, at your cushion. Other thing can be like brushing your teeth. So we do that every day. And automatically, if you start meditating after that, after you brush your teeth, your body will remember. So it will get added to your body clock. So that's very helpful. Just a few things that I thought I'll share. And if you have any ideas, feel free to share that, like by speaking or on the chat. Anything else that has helped you establish a meditation? So you can share that right now.
I think for me, meditation's always been a struggle. So I've always wanted to do it for a long time. And I think training to be a teacher is my motivation, because you don't show up for yourself, you show up for other people. So that kind of is my kind of intrinsic motivation. what helps me is having like maybe people that do it. I think that helps, because I found recently my practice has kind of stopped a little bit. So being in a group or with colleagues or friends who do it, and also just attending events and having reminders on my phone.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, makes sense. Anyone else wants to share?
I think to speak to the cushion, I find it really helpful to start by taking my seat amongst all, like that I'm not taking my seat just for me, I'm taking my seat for the practice to benefit all beings. And to just connect into that helps. And then also, I notice that when I'm studying and listening to lectures for school, I sit on my cushion as well, and generally light a candle and just kind of have that same attention. And it helps for both my practice and my participation and experience.
It's wonderful. Yeah, thank you for sharing that as well. Yeah, as I'm listening, I'm like, yeah, it's so rich to hear other people speak their experiences. So yeah, anyone else who wants to share what has helped them keep a meditation practice? And you can also add like, this has been a barrier. These are some barriers that I've experienced, but then these are some factors that have helped me. Readjustments. What I read this somewhere. What would happen if I keep doing this for the rest of my life? I personally experienced that this question helps me automatically get attracted to meditation or other positive life habits because of other outcomes and benefits. Yes. So when you know the outcomes and benefits, just asking that question, what will happen if I do this every day? Thank you for sharing.
So again, I have read this amazing book, Power of Now. So I used to have very compulsive thinking before that, but Power of Now really helped me actually to stay in the present moment. Like you only have to worry about the present moment. I wouldn't say worry, but yeah, try to just focus on the little things. As you said, like while you're brushing your teeth, just I would say maybe focus, or just when you're brushing, or maybe when you're taking a bath, or when you're eating your food. So I think these little things will really help to stay in the present moment. I know it's very effort. So yeah, it's very effort. I've tried it. It goes on and off, but whenever I remember, like, yes, I have to stay in the present, then I just focus on what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for sharing. And this, I do remember how Eckhart Tolle says, like, be present or do everything sort of consciously, and there are no problems if you are truly in the present. All the problems are usually in the future. So that's what the book. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. Okay. So I think thank you so much for like adding more quality and more richness to this. And I'm so glad to have all of you here and to have like heard your experiences as well. Let's move on to the next part. So today I think we are spending more time on talking about these things, and I also want to establish sort of a community kind of feeling so that we know each other. And just today is more introductory, but I want to quickly go to the meditation practice. This is a small video that I have usually shown when I teach meditation to small kids. This is usually helpful, but I have gotten to enjoy it or like it so much. So I have chosen this video again here too. So let's see this, and then we'll get into a few small aspects of meditation, and then we'll get to the practice. let me know if you're not able to hear. Is it audible?
No, it's not audible.
Okay, let me. Now it should work.
Something of a buzz phrase. You may have heard this word mindfulness. It's become something of a buzz phrase of late. I'm going to give you one simple, serviceable definition, which is this. Mindfulness is the ability to know what's happening in your head at any given moment without getting carried away by it. Imagine how useful this could be. Just as an example, you're driving down the road and somebody cuts you off in traffic. How do you normally react? I think most of us, we normally react by having a thought, which is, I'm pissed. And then what happens next? You immediately, habitually, reflexively inhabit that thought. You actually become pissed. There's no buffer between the stimulus and your reaction. With just a little bit of mindfulness, in that same situation, you might notice my chest is buzzing, my ears are turning red, I'm having a starburst of self-righteous thoughts, I'm getting angry. But you don't necessarily have to act on it and chase that person down the road, screaming at them with your kids in the back of the car thinking you've gone nuts. Now, you might be thinking, don't I need to get angry sometimes? Aren't I justified? I would say yes, but probably not as much as you think. The proposition here is not that you should be rendered by mindfulness into some lifeless, non-judgmental blob. The proposition is that you should learn how to respond wisely to things that happen to you, rather than just reacting blindly. And that, my friends, is a superpower. How do you get it? The way to get it is through meditation. I believe that meditation and mindfulness are the next big public health revolution. In the 1940s, if you told somebody you were going running, they would have said, who's chasing you? But then what happened next? The scientists swooped in, they showed that physical exercise is really good for you, and now all of us do it, and if we don't, we feel guilty about it. And that's where I think we're headed with mindfulness and meditation. It's going to join the pantheon of no-brainers like brushing your teeth, eating well, and taking the meds your doctor prescribed for you. Let me just close by saying, mindfulness is not going to solve all of your problems. It's not going to render your life a nonstop parade of unicorns and rainbows. Nonetheless, this is a superpower, and one that is accessible by you immediately.
Okay. So, any comments? Anyone has any questions or comments about the video?
I liked how they said that, mindfulness or like meditation doesn't teach you to like stop responding to things, because of course, being human, you can't stop doing that, but just responding wisely. I think that's a nice way to put it.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's really good. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think that's a really good point that was raised, actually, because I found one of my barriers with mindfulness was that I was going to lose parts of myself, because it almost meant I couldn't have a judgment about anything. That's what I was afraid of. But my teachers would say that's not true. So you can still enjoy things, whether they're really pleasurable or not. So it's about, that you don't lose yourself.
That's a very good point. Yeah. I feel like jumping to that, but I want to save that. Like losing that self reminds me of so many things, but I want to stay where we are right now. Yes. Anyone else who has any comments about the video? No. I was not supposed to show you the slide, but anyways, yes. So I just want to ask, so we saw that video. What do you think mindfulness involves? What are like certain aspects? And I'm doing this so that You answer and you will remember. If I tell you, it's not as fun. Again.
So I guess the one thing they talked about was noticing your body, like noticing when your ears are turning red or, your heart is beating too fast. Like there would be some signs to just notice that you're becoming angry or feeling some kind of emotion which is different from your normal stance. So I guess noticing those physiological changes in your body or just being kind of noticing the shift between how you were and how you are becoming.
Yes, amazing. Yes. So noticing what happened in the physiologically in your body, that's an attribute of mindfulness. Amazing. Thank you for answering. What else?
There is also like the next part of noticing is not letting the thoughts run away. So there's like a skillful means to noticing.
What do you mean by not letting the thoughts run away?
Well, when you're noticing something, a part of a mindfulness practice is to like if you're noticing a feeling and then naming it an emotion, not becoming the emotion, or noticing a thought, not running with the thought. So there's like this less of a grasping to the thoughts and just kind of remaining in the knower rather than the knowing.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was so well put. So thank you very much for sharing. And yes, that's another very important aspect. Not just noticing, but also not becoming. Like you notice the anger, but when we become the anger, that's not mindfulness. So noticing without reacting, sort of, without becoming. Anything else that comes to mind or that you remember from the video? Okay. So let's see. So we have said noticing, we have said not reactivity. And then just like a thought, quote from Buddha, it's like holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else, but it is you who gets burned. So the more we cultivate, we are able to like be mindful, the more we are just aware of the emotion, aware of the thought or sensations, but we are not like becoming, we are not grasping them, we are not identified with them. That's another. And then meta awareness. So these are all, even though different variables, they're all like so similar to one another. So meta awareness is like awareness of being aware. That's the simplest definition. But when you are aware of the mental processes that are happening within the brain or within your mind, example, like when we are having negative thoughts, it's so easy to like go in the spiral and just feel terrible and worse and keep reacting to a thought with other thought and then the other. And so that happens very often with humans. But meta awareness is an ability to see that thoughts are arising, as if you are sitting next to a street while cars and bikes are passing away from the left to right. Meta awareness is like you are the space within which these thoughts and emotions are coming and passing away, one by one. So you are at a distanced place. Is that making sense? Just give me a thumbs up. And is anyone has any question, feel free to like interrupt me. Okay. And the next one thing is disidentification. So now this is also, we sort of said it, but I'm separately defining it, is the ability to not identify with the thoughts or feelings or emotions. So I think I said earlier, if we in interaction have a habit of, like, when anger arises, anxiety arises, so we have a tendency to say, I am anxious, I'm so anxious. Then there is no difference between you and anxiety. Our sense of self becomes identified with the anxiety itself, or with the emotion of anger itself, whichever the scenario is. So disidentification is an ability to see the thought or emotion or sensation that is arising in the body or in the mind, to see that without identifying with it, without calling it me. So you are no longer calling anger as this is my sense of self. You are calling anger as something that is arising and passing. But myself is a separate thing. I am not the anger. I am not the anxiety. Then comes an ease. Then the whole experience changes. Another way, like another metaphorical way of putting this is, so when we are, for example, breathing in air right now. So the air that is in front of me right now is not my heat. It's here outside. But when I'm breathing it in, the same air is actually right now in my lungs. And when I breathe out, it's out of the body again. I'm eating some food, or I'm drinking water. This is in a glass jar. I'm drinking it. And now it's here in me. Now that water which was outside has become my heat, has become my body. But soon, in like maybe few hours, I'm gonna pee and it will be out. Another thing like food, I'll eat and I'll poop it out. So there are so many processes that are happening. A perspective that I'm offering right now is, can you see your thoughts and emotions like this? Like you see the air, like you see the food, or like you see this water? Is it possible for you to see your thoughts that are coming from somewhere? You can try it out right now. Like you can close your eyes and see, okay, where are they coming from? Am I creating these thoughts, or are they just coming one by one? Oh, there's another thought. Just close your eyes and just sit and see what's the next thought in your mind. Where is it coming from? Can you stop this? Can you stop the thoughts from coming? Is it you who's creating the thoughts, or do they just keep falling in again and again, non-stop? And then the thought that was in the mind like 15 seconds ago, it's that thought here still, or is it gone? Or can you just hold the thought that you have right now? Just keep it there. Don't let it go. Is that possible? Okay, let's come back. What happened? I want to hear what happened in your experience right now. Or any questions that arise in you. Were you able to get to an answer, like where are these thoughts coming from?
I could share my experience.
Sure.
I was just trying to say, I will remain. And I noticed that it was like, I was very focused in saying, I will remain. And then it was just like this expansive experience of like more things trying to come in and distract me from it. And I was saying it, but it went away in the distance. Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing. How was other people's experience? What happened with you?
It was like how you were saying when you're on the street and watching all the vehicles pass by. It's like that. It's like to the question of what's the source or like, am I creating them? It doesn't seem like I am creating them because they're so random and happening when willfully there will be, if I'm like focusing attention on some thoughts or I'm trying to think about something, then that is of course somewhere created by my brain, I think. But again, when you're just observing thoughts, they seem, you become the observer then, right? And then because there's that distance, you see them as not arising from like you. That makes sense.
Okay. So there was a separation from like who you are and from where they're coming and going. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else who wants to share what happened? Okay. So that is sort of some attributes of mindfulness. So let me summarize it again. So there will be noticing happening when you, now the next piece is we are going to go into meditation practice, which is the most important part of this workshop. But just wanted to get some theory, like some theoretical insights in. So first thing was noticing. So you will be noticing your body sensations and thoughts and emotions. However, for today and maybe for like another couple of weeks, we'll focus more on our breathing, just one sensation, and the other noticing will automatically happen. And then non-reactivity is when we notice a difficult emotion or thought or memory come in, we will just see it as something arising and passing. So for example, using that same metaphor of sitting next to a street, if we notice a Mercedes, a super fancy car, we're not going to run after it. If we notice a really terrible, I don't know, in India we have Ambassadors. I don't like that car. It's like an old shady car. I'm not going to run away from it because I dislike this car. So we will not react to the positive. We will not react to the negative. Whatever the experience looks like, whatever that memory looks like, whatever that sensation feels like, we are gonna just notice it and not react, because the more you will react, the more it's gonna multiply. It's like, another metaphor is, our mind is like a fire and these thoughts are like firewood. They're like the fuel. There's already so many thoughts, there are already so many like wooden logs in place on which the fire is burning. So if you react with more thoughts, and if you react to these emotions or sensations, you're adding more wood onto this fire. But when we sit and not react to our experience, to what arises, then we are not adding new things to be burned. And then naturally the fire will burn up what's already there. And naturally there will be a point, there is no wood left to be burned. And that is emptiness. And we'll get to that more in theory later. But just giving you a small introduction or using this metaphor of what happens when we stop reacting, when we are just seeing without judging, without reacting. And acceptance is the attitude that we will carry. So of course, non-reactivity, non-judgment is there. That is something that we don't do. But what we do is, or kind of which naturally happens, is we are open space to what is arising and passing. We are not denying anything. We are accepting what is happening. So that's another attribute that we will keep in mind while we are practicing. And then meta-awareness will happen naturally. You will become that awareness where all these thoughts, emotions are happening. This identification that we kind of went into detail, so when the thoughts happen, don't see them as your thoughts. They're just thoughts. Emotions happen. Yes, it's happening right now. Maybe they are mine, maybe they are not. And then let's get to our first meditation practice. Any questions before we go into the meditation practice? Anyone has any question or any concern or anything that you want to clarify?
Yeah, I have one question. So, despite of knowing all this, like meditation will really help you grow your to grow to grow yourself in all aspects. And but sometimes we just get drifted by the negative emotions, and one negative emotion just triggers many more, right? So, what would you suggest, like how we should pull ourselves up from such situations? And I just want to know.
Sure. So I think when it happens, we will just be with it. Okay. Right now, it's your question. I know, understand, and it happens out there in life many times. But I'm not going to answer for those times. If it happens right now, just be with it, and we are all with you. When you notice that you are going into that thought cycle, remember that I'm here, and all these people you are meeting today are here with you. You're not alone. And we are all practicing together. And then, no matter what that emotion or thought is, it is bound to pass away. That is the law of impermanence. That is another thing that we'll get more and more with practice. Nothing is permanent. Not even, like, look at this planet. It will fade away one day for sure. The whole world. The earth was not here maybe one day, and the earth, whole planet will not be there. So there's nothing that is permanent. Everything changes. And that is the law of impermanence that is applicable to everything that is in nature. Our body, we are going to die. This furniture is going to become like completely dissolve and go into the soil again. The weather is going to change. Our cells and molecules in our body are actually changing right now. And our mood, maybe we are feeling happy, it's going to change. And who is in the government is going to change. What the clouds look like right now, it's going to change. No matter how happy that is, or no matter how sad it is, everything is going to change. So if you are stuck in a difficult situation, trust me, it's going to change. If you feel like, oh my God, I'm feeling ecstatic, trust me, that will change too. So that is the truth. That is the reality of our experience.
But why do we keep forgetting all this, and we just get stuck in that human emotions, and we get just drifted away?
Yes, that's true. And that is, grasping is the nature of the human mind. And it's going to do that. And with practice, you will come to a realization that the mind is doing it, not you. Like how we talked about disidentification, we are able to separate the emotions and thoughts. There will be a point then you will see the whole mind as a separate thing, as not you. So with practice, it will come. But right now, I can't answer like why, and these are like long answers. But let's just practice, and it will happen.
Yeah, I completely agree that these are like, it's not easy. We have to put lots of effort, and exercising it every day would really help. Like, we should be very determined about it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for asking, and I'm so glad that you are so motivated to and curious about these questions.
Yeah, thank you.
I will just quickly answer Shashi's question about meta awareness. So again, I'll use a small metaphor. Just imagine a huge white sky. There are clouds passing by. There are fluffy clouds. There are gray clouds. There are small line-like clouds, and there are clouds that are different shape. Anyways, they're all moving and changing their form, but the sky on top of them is the sort of witness and noticing these clouds come and go and change. But the sky is always on top. It doesn't mess with the clouds, doesn't try to change them, doesn't try to control them. It's just there always. So be that sky. And these clouds are your thoughts and emotions. Let them come and go. And that is meta awareness for you. So thank you for asking that question. Let's go into our first round of meditation. So take a position that's most comfortable for you. Make sure if you're sitting, and I would recommend to sit down. If you're sitting, make sure your back is straight. And if you are holding your phone or any other distracting thing, put it away. And then once you are in that position, take all your attention, take all your focus and place it on your breathing sensations. Take a long breath in, hold for a second, and breathe out. Another breath in, hold for a second, and breathe out. One more breath in, hold for a second, and breathe out. Continue to breathe and allow yourself to go back to the natural pace of breathing, but maintain your attention on the sensations of breath. Notice how every in-breath leads to an expansion in your lungs and stomach. And notice how every out-breath leads to a contraction in lungs and stomach. Notice how there is a rhythm in the breathing, how the body moves slightly upward when you're breathing in, and how your body moves a little down and settles down when you breathe out. If during this practice you notice that there is any tension or tightness in your shoulders, in your back, or any other part of your body, with your next out breath, let that go. As you breathe out, release that tension or tightness that you might be feeling in any part of your body. Just go out. If your attention for some reason goes away into thinking or planning, ruminating, simply bring it back onto your breath. Come back to the breathing sensation with curiosity. With openness, and start noticing again if the mind goes somewhere else, bring it back on the breath. And start noticing the in-breath and out-breath. Remember to be kind towards your mind. Remember to not react with frustration or anger when you notice your mind wandering away. Instead, respond with acceptance and compassion towards the mind. I'll use a small metaphor again to remind you what kind of compassion and acceptance is needed right now. Imagine when you're taking care of a small baby or a toddler who likes to run away in the house. They do not listen to us. They are so full of energy, they will just run and play with whatever they find, eat whatever comes to their hand. All we can do to such a toddler is pick them up and place them on the safe bed again. If they run away, try to get out of the room. We only can just compassionately pick them up and place them on the bed where they are safe. We do not get angry. We do not scold the baby. We do not treat them with unkind words or frustration or anger. We treat them with kindness, acceptance. No matter how many times they go away and try to play with things or not listen to you at all, each time we just compassionately pick them up and place them on the bed. And that is the quality of acceptance and compassion we are applying towards our own self right now. If the mind goes to past, goes to future, goes to daydreaming, goes to conversations, or goes to being like, oh, what am I going to say after this practice? Any thought that comes in, that's okay. So completely fine. The moment you notice this attention has gone to thinking or planning or a different place, not the breathing, pick it up, place it back on your breathing sensation. The same way that you were picking up that baby with kindness and compassion. No matter how many times the mind goes away, just bring it back again and again. And notice how you feel in your lungs, in your stomach, or maybe on your nostrils. See if the air that is going in is cooler or warmer. Notice the temperature of the air that you are inhaling and exhaling. Notice how your stomach is shifting, moving every time you breathe in and out. Nothing outside of this experience is important right now. We are applying single-minded focus onto this experience of breath. Nothing else matters but the breath that you're inhaling right now. So be here fully, be completely present with your breath. No sound or no sensation or feeling other than the breath is important in this moment. So be here now. And if you're not able to be here, that's okay. The more you come back, the more stronger your practice becomes. Then noticing and coming back to the breath is more important than staying here. So don't be hard on yourself if your mind wanders away. Congratulate yourself the moment you realize, oh, my mind was somewhere else. And congratulate yourself again when you bring it back to the breath. Let's take one last breath in together and breathe out. You can open your eyes. You can come back to the room. Okay. Thank you so much for meditating with me. Now we have last few minutes. I think we have 15 more minutes. And I want to open space for if you want to share your experience, how was the meditation, and also what questions you have. Anyone wants to share their experience?
I can share something that was strange for me. When you had said, like, treat this breath, I don't remember the exact words, but treat this breath like it is the most important thing that you have to do. It was like, it gave me a lot of tension in my shoulders, because I was like, that's impossible to accept. And yeah, it was interesting to notice that that's lacking for me, is like that aspect of treating the practice like it is the most important thing, because it is, but it gave me anxiety, because I was like, but there's this, and then there's that, and the actual response in my body, it was helpful, but it was also like, oh, that's happening.
Thank you for sharing and great noticing. I'm so glad that you noticed the whole thing. Not only that, not only just breathing, not only the response that came up to what I was saying, but also the anxiety that followed. So you noticed the whole thing. So well done on that.
Certainly something that I'm going to be like, why can't I accept that? But I something to work on.
Thank you so much for sharing. Anyone else wants to share?
For me, I was able to focus, but then I also got distracted thinking after this I have so much to do, like this Saturday is packed with assignments and I have to have all these work done during this day. But then I also thought about how, like, if I just be in this class and I'm meditating for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, like that's not gonna affect my assignments, right? I mean, I'm still gonna be able to do them. I'm still gonna be able to go ahead with my work. And like, why do we feel like taking some time for ourselves is gonna impact that negatively? Like at least I would tell myself, like, if I go out or if I spend some time, that's not going to be helpful for completing my tasks on time, or things like that. But then I realized, like, taking some time for yourself is not necessarily meaning that you're not giving time for things you want to be doing. So
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. And yes, that's very common that when we are meditating, the mind goes to, oh, I have to do these things. That's like to-do list and planning. I have so much work to do. So yes, that can be so overwhelming. Yet, and I'm so glad you realized that self-care is so important. And this, when you were sharing, it did remind me of one of the Zen story, or not a story, but a phrase, when like the student goes to the teacher and like, oh, I can't meditate, I have no time. So like usual recommendation, like you meditate 1 hour a day. So like, I can't meditate 1 hour, I have so much work, I don't have enough time. The teacher says, oh, okay, then meditate 2 hours. Like, what? I'm saying I don't have enough time. That's why I can't meditate for 1 hour. Oh, you don't have enough time? Then meditate 3 hours. So it's like kept on growing and growing. But the point is, meditation changes the sense of your time. So our mind likes to live in the linear time. So like past, present, and future, which is limited time. And the practice sort of breaks the perception you carry of time itself. And since you're watching dark, it's going to break anyways, so you don't have to practice. That TV show can break that. Just making a small joke, but yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Anyone else? Yeah, it's open. You can speak up and share your experience. I'm also going to read the chat. Jasmine said extremely relaxing, so thank you. And then Tanera, I hope that's the correct pronunciation, and I'm sorry if that's not. Had a hard time focusing, but I suffer from ADHD. I know that has amazing benefits for mind and body. So yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for sharing that information with the group and trusting all of us with that information. And yes, it is challenging to have attention and to be focused on one thing, and then it's really hard to stay focused. But that's not the goal, to always stay focused onto one thing. That is, we are practicing it, but that's not the goal. What's more beneficial for the practice is realizing, oh, mind is here. Let's bring it here. That's it. The more times you notice and realize, oh, mind was there, let's bring it here. That is more important than like staying here constantly. So it's okay if you don't feel like focus is happening. That's completely fine. And I have 4 or 5 years of meditation practice. I can't stay focused also. So it's okay. It's not easy. Anyone else wants to share their experience? Okay. So let's see. I think today we only did one meditation. And I think if no one has any question, I would do one small one again. But I'm just setting a sort of structure for us for next week and like upcoming weeks. Today was more introductory and just basic breathing meditation. We'll continue to strengthen this practice because this is like the basic and most simple, focusing on your breathing. And I want to use another sort of metaphor, what we are doing, and sort of, oh yes, I'm so glad I remember, and sort of instructions for the next 6 days. So until we meet next Saturday, what we are going to do while you're going to practice on your own. So what we did right now is basic mindfulness meditation practice. So we will continue to do that. And we are using our focus or attention ability, like imagine like a torchlight. It's like a flashlight. So it is usually throws, if I turn on the torchlight on the wall, it will go to this like whole circle area behind me. So usually our like area of awareness is like bigger, and we are focusing, for example, while I'm focusing on my breathing, I'm just noticing like this area, my stomach, like a bigger area. We are slowly going to like reduce this area to like a narrower, like we are sharpening our awareness. I'm not giving instructions right now, but I'm just setting this sort of expectation that will start happening in like 2-3 weeks. But I'm just saying it right now. Right now, the goal is to just keep practicing on your breathing wherever it's going. Or one helpful thing is you can select a place. Like you can select either like your chest area, you can select your stomach, your belly bottom, 1 point, or you can select this area under your nose, like your nostril. So if you have one, just stay in that place. So that will help like sharpen that area of your awareness. So it's like you're sharpening your knife. When it's gonna get really sharp, then we can go deeper, if that makes sense. So that is the goal of this very basic mindfulness meditation. So keep practicing this every morning and evening, at least 10 minutes maybe. and stay focused onto one place. And then, any questions right now that you have for me about the practice? Okay. So that basic mindfulness practice every day. And then next week we will have sort of different instructions, and we'll get into a more different like topics. But mostly we will stay we'll continue to do the mindfulness meditation practice. Today we just did one. I'll try to do at least 2 rounds, because practice is the more important aspect of this workshop and theory is less. But today, since this was the first day, I focused more on the theory. But I think next 7 days, we'll focus more on the practice. Does that make sense? Okay. Any questions or comments before I let you all go? Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm so grateful that you were part of this workshop. And I'm so happy that so many people joined. And again, can share my practice with such a nice group. So thank you so much for showing up today.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It's so refreshing meeting, like-minded people here, like whom we know that they know what you're actually talking about when we say mindfulness or when we say meditation. Yeah, I'm glad to meet everyone. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for sharing. That's so kind of you. Okay. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'm going to see you next week. Have a nice rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.